Let me start with something that will make you uncomfortable. If you're keeping most of your money in a bank account, waiting for the right time to invest, you're not playing it safe. You're choosing a guaranteed loss. And I can prove it with simple arithmetic that a high school student should understand. But somehow, very smart people miss this constantly. Here's the math nobody wants to face. If inflation runs at 3% annually and your savings account pays 0.5%, you're losing 2.5% of your purchasing power every single year. That's not a risk, that's a certainty. Over a decade, you'll lose about 25% of what that money can actually buy. Not what it says on the bank statement, but what it can do in the real world. And that's assuming inflation stays at the government's polite number. Now I know what you're thinking. But Charlie, cash feels safe. I can see the number. It doesn't go down. That's the problem right there. You're watching the wrong number. You're measuring nominal dollars when you should be measuring purchasing power. It's like celebrating that your car's speedometer still works while ignoring that you're running out of gas. The psychology here is predictable. We humans suffer from what I call deprival superreaction tendency. We hate losing what we have more than we enjoy gaining something new. So we clutch our cash, terrified of market volatility, while inflation quietly pickpockets us year after year. We're so afraid of a 20% drawdown that might recover that we accept a guaranteed 30% loss over a decade. That's not rational. That's just expensive fear. Let me give you a principle that saved me from countless mistakes. Always invert. Instead of asking, what should I buy? Ask, what are the ways I'm certain to lose? When you invert the cash question, the answer becomes obvious. Holding cash in an inflationary environment is choosing certain loss over uncertain but probable gain. You're picking the guaranteed wrong answer because it feels comfortable. I learned this from studying physics, not economics. In physics, there's a concept called entropy. Things naturally move from order to disorder unless you add energy. Cash purchasing power has entropy. It decays naturally unless you do something about it. The second mental model you need is compound interest, except working against you. Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, but he should have mentioned it works both ways. When inflation compounds at 3% and your returns are essentially zero, you're watching reverse compound interest destroy your wealth in slow motion. It's painless enough that you don't notice year to year, but devastating over decades. Here's what people miss. They think volatility equals risk, but real risk is the permanent loss of purchasing power. A stock portfolio might drop 15% in a bad year, sure. But cash is guaranteed to drop 3% in a good year, and that's